Shut up and take my money. That's right. Shut up and take my money. And welcome to another episode of Winners and Zingers, the NRL edition. We are now up to round 14. As I welcome my little mate Frosty. How's your confidence? High, and no
No.
doubt your accuracy will be very questionable again.
Yes.
Um,
Terrible.
we might just quickly glaze over last week's performance, if you don't mind. Um, as you can have a look at as we can see yours, uh, the old faithful let us down first game, Manly. What happened there,
Mm,
mate?
mm. They got blown off the park in the first half.
Yeah, speaking of blown off the park, you end up getting what, 3 out of 7, and mine was just as bad. Or what I ended up getting 2, so
Mm.
as disappointing as that was, and that's why you see some of our faces are all bashed up. But if we move on to our zingers, and if you have a look, I've given you the little the what do you call it? The tower stacker.
Wow. I
It's one of
couldn't
your
get my mouth around that.
it's one of your favourites, though. And if you have a look at yours, you had an absolute shocker. Never got one zinger
No.
right. But if you go over to my old little faithful old bacon and cheese zinger, my old favourite,
Yes,
um,
makes you look good.
I end up getting 6 out of 7. And can you believe the only one that let me down was Dominic Young, and he played in a team that scored 28 points and he couldn't cross the strike. Can you believe that?
You wouldn't.
So you know what that means, Frosty? He's definitely on my blacklist, never to be picked again. And if in future
You
reference,
will.
if I try to pick him, you've got to
Mm,
remind me.
mm.
All right.
I'll remind you after you've already picked him.
Yeah. All right. So what we'll do
Mm,
is we'll get onto this week's games, round 14. First up, what do we got? We've got we might try a little bit of background music if we can. So Thursday night at Four Pines Park, we've got the Sea Eagles versus the Rabbitohs. For the Sea Eagles, Holy Hamoli Olakau'atu returns after being rested. Kohler has been named, but there's a bit of an issue with that about his clearance, so we'll be interested to see what happens. It could be the same thing as what happened with Benny Travojevic a couple of weeks back. And
yeah.
we've got Josh Felaty and Jackson Schwerb on the bench, and Ethan Bullimore makes way. For the Rabbitohs, we've got Fafita, who's been named for his first appearance since round 6. Tallis Duncan goes to the back row. Keon returns to the front row with Ewan Aiken dropping back to the interchange. Brandon Smith's always also been listed. He's had a calf injury. But the Bunnies still have no Latrell, who has a back injury. But Campbell Graham also returns to the team, and Jai Gray reclaims his spot at fullback with Dufty dropping back to the bench. So currently we have the Sea Eagles at $1.66 and the Bunnies at $2.23. How do you see it, mate?
I'll stick solid. Stick with the Eagles.
Yep.
Mm.
You think there's just a
Yourself?
little glitch in the system last week?
Yeah. I mean, Sharks are one of the bogey sides. They always have been, especially at Shark Park. They call it something else now, but and I think they probably just thought that they'd go through the motions, maybe. So they nearly got it in the end, but never mind.
Yeah, I think the issue with South, so hot and cold. You don't know which South Sydney team's going to rock up.
Mm,
Very hard to get a gauge on with them. And rumor has it that Foran's about to sign on permanently for a few years, so that'll be a confidence builder for them.
hope
So
so.
on the back of that, I'm going to take the Seagulls too at $1.66. I think that's okay. Um, what about something for a zinger for us, mate?
Jason Saab, I'm going to take. I think he's
Oh
been a little
wow.
bit dry of late, so I think he likes to score tries at 4 points. So
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever pick him. He does absolutely nothing for me. But my mate
Bit, oh
Clayton Farlalo, who's done really well for me the
yeah.
last few weeks, but no, I've gone off him this week. I've thrown a little bit of a curveball. I'm going Lehigh Hopewadi to cross the stripe.
Fair enough.
So interesting to see how that happens. So
Mm.
if you want to, we'll move on to the next one. And that would be the Storm versus the Knights Friday night, 6 o'clock at Amy Park. The Storm have got Nick Meaney sidelined with a calf. He's having a horrible year anyway. Um, I'd like to pronounce this one. Anaya Fatare starts in the centres after coming off the bench against the Roosters. Back row Sean Blaw is listed amongst the reserves as he returns from concussion. As for the Knights, injury to Sandon Smith, who's got a calf problem, sees Fletcher Sharp move to 5'8". Fletcher Hunt goes from the bench to the centres. And there's a new face, Francis Manuliua, uh, who's on the six-man interchange, while Thomas Kent um, looks to see he's get some time as he didn't get in last week. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So
Mm.
currently we've got the Storm. Wow, interesting to see. They're $1.63 and the Knights are $2.28. How do you see it, mate?
A bit of a toss of the coin for me, but I'll stick only with the Storm because it's at home.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was flipping a coin myself. I
Would you get
brushed.
heads
I
or
think,
tails?
yeah, it's double-sided heads, which
Oh,
and I call tails, which is a worry.
yes.
Um, I said last week I've gone off the Storm. Um, and I'm just looking at my notes, and I end up picking the Storm. I don't know why.
Wow,
Yeah, I
he's
don't know
back.
why. I think maybe because the Knights weren't so convincing last week.
Well, the Knights haven't
Um,
been convincing for a long while, but they're
yeah,
still banking the points. So,
yeah.
mm.
So I probably should change after hearing that. No, 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 no. I'll stick for the with the Storm. Sorry. Um, who have you got for a zinger for us, mate?
Fletcher Sharp, I'm going to go for.
Yeah,
I don't think I backed him this year for a try, but I reckon he's got one in him. Even though I think Storm will win.
yeah. Who do I normally take Will Warbrick. Oh wow.
Yes.
No, so I'm going back to the old faithful, Surefire logo.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he let me down a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? So
Yeah, it's funny.
yeah, this is funny how I forgive and forget real quick in this industry.
I do too. Don't worry.
Mm. Sometimes that's our undoing, but
Yes.
all right, so we'll move on to the next one. Mm. Ooh. Um, Friday night, GIO Stadium, 8 o'clock. We've got the Raiders versus the Roosters. As for the Raiders, this is an interesting one. Dane Laurie moves from lock to the centres to cover for Seb Chris, who has a concussion. Jaden Brayley's back from concussion, slots to the lock. Joe Reddy's recovered from a hand injury and joins the big bench. As for the Roosters, no changes, considering it was a disappointing loss last week. But star winger Mark Nawangani is part of an extended bench as he chases a return from a Cindus sprained ankle injury he suffered in round 9 that required surgery. So currently the Raiders are $2.13 and the Roosters are shorter, $1.72. Which way you swinging for this one, mate?
Nothing wrong with swinging. A bit again, toss of the coin. Raiders have been really disappointing at home, but I'll stick with them this week.
Going the Raiders. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is another one I was thinking about going the Raiders, but they weren't overly convincing last week for me. And the Roosters, oh, I hate using the word, but I use it a lot lately. Horrible.
Mm.
Let's just say they were terrible. especially their Origin stars, and we don't like to use an excuse for those guys because they should be lifting for the occasion. But I'm going to go the Roosters.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they're a top four team, and they need to prove it. They need to get back on the winners list. So, what about for a zinger, mate?
Dane Laurie, who you were talking about before, no good at lock. He needs to be out. Either as a centre or a wing. That's where he's more dangerous. So I've picked him.
Yeah, he's been having a bit of a go lately,
Mm.
which is always good. Um, for me, I've gone for this fella because he needs a big game for Origin. I'm going for Teddy.
Well, okay.
Yep. I think he wasn't so good last weekend, but he had an okay Origin, so he'll be keen to put a strong claim forward because Dylan Edwards had a absolute blinder
Mm.
on Sunday night. So yeah, I think Teddy will come out and he'll hopefully cross the stripe for us too, mate. So we'll go that way, all right?
Yep.
Okay, next up. So sorry, on the Super Saturday, 5:30, we have the Cowboys versus the Dolphins. This should be a good game. For the Cowboys, Ruben Cotter's back after being rested. Um, Sonny Luke is back from a knee injury, so he's good to go. Prop Tom McHaley has been named despite leaving the field with a knee injury last week. As for the Dolphins, a couple of huge ins. We've got Herbie Farnworth and Cody Nicarima. Um, and we've got, what do we got? Is the Hammer playing? Yes, the Hammer's in.
Yep.
Maxi Plaff's in and Selwyn Cobbo because they're all back from obviously Origin duty. And Felice Kafusi and Snyder go back to the bench. The Cowboys sitting at $2.34 and the Dolphins at $1.61. Which way do you see this one, buddy?
I'm going to stay with the Finns.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Cowboys again, bit like the Chooks, up and down, up and down, up and down. Dolphins a little bit more consistent, so yeah, I'll stay with the Finns.
Yeah, I said at the start of the year, I think the Dolphins are a top four team. And they're just recently starting to string some together, getting a bit of consistency. Uh, as we said all along with the Cowboys, they're hot and cold. When their good players are on fire, they're really good, and then sometimes, unfortunately, they go missing. So as for that, yeah, I'm on the Finns as well, mate. I think $1.61's good odds. What about for you, Zinger, buddy?
Oh, well, I'm back on Herbie Farnsworth. I had him for last week and he pulled out, so
The old
I'll
void,
stick,
eh?
yeah, so I'll stick solid and hopefully he'll do me justice this week.
Yeah, I've gone. I've gone for the ever reliable Jermaine Osako.
Yeah, I looked at him.
Yeah,
Mm,
he I just think they'll throw the ball around. There'll be a lot of points in this one, so any one of those people in both back lines could probably score. So
mm.
it's a matter of picking the right one. All right, so next up on the Saturday, oh, this is up at Suncorp, 7:35. We've got the Broncos versus the Titans. As for the Broncos, we've got Grant Anderson comes in the centres with Shibasaki out with a knee injury. Paddy Carrigan's out with an ankle injury, so he's replaced by Willison, who moves to lock. And what's his name? Gozeski goes to the
Yep,
second
Jack
row.
Kaczewski, yep.
Yeah. Tom Duffy's been promoted to 5'8", with Ezra Mann relegated to the bench. He's out of form big time.
Yeah,
And then you've got a couple of young fellas, in Taha and Hayes Parham, who have been added to the interchange. As for the Titans, we've got Tino back and Jojo from Maroons duties. Cleese Haas and Jaden de Groot slide onto the interchange, and Oliver Pascoe had his concussion last week. Um, so he's missing, and then we've got Lachlan Ellis and Christensen drop out of the squad. Currently, the Broncos are $1.43, and the Titans at a $2.81. I tell you, if the Broncos are what $1.43, the Titans must be going bad. What do you reckon about this one, Frosty?
Well, again, I'm reluctant to take the Broncos after last week. Like, I would not have picked the Dragons to get their first win of the season against the Broncos, especially at home. Down here maybe, but not at Suncorp. And they did. They were. I mean, yeah, they went close in the end to nearly pulling it off, but to let them get like they got score wise and then have to chase it down is just un-Broncos like. So I'll stick with the Broncos, but geez, I'm reluctant only because the Titans are just going. They're busted.
Yeah. I I'm gonna forgive the Broncos for last week, reluctantly. I think the Dragons played okay in the first half.
Well, they did, yeah.
That they were dying in the arse, and I actually thought the Broncos would have swooped them at the end, but as I said, I'm gonna forgive him. Payne Haas, he'll be better for the run.
Oh, he was good last week.
He was good, but you could just tell he was a little bit struggling with match fitness. To still play pumped out big minutes, right? So,
Mm, mm,
but yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm definitely going the Broncos, but not convincing. So,
mm.
what about for a zinger, mate?
Well, I'm forgiving Reece Walsh. I took him last week and he totally let me down. He looks like he's out of form. If they pick him for the second origin, they're kidding themselves. But I'll take him for a try scorer this week again and hope he delivers.
Yeah,
I know he's come back from injury as well and probably a bit reluctant to do the things that he needs to do, but he's certainly not the same bloke that was winning the comp for the Bronx last year. So fingers crossed,
yeah. Probably to be fair, he probably tried a little bit too hard last week,
maybe.
and a couple of things sort of backfired. I was tempted to go on Carapani again, but I'm um I'm going on the other wing. Jesse Arthur's for me.
Yeah, well, I looked at him too. Mm,
Yeah. Um, he bombed a try last week, though I noticed. He
mm,
scored one and he bombed one, so
yeah, he did.
hopefully he doesn't bomb one this week, eh? Oh, here we go. So 2 o'clock on Sunday at Combank, we got the West Tigers versus the Panthers. Um, as for the Tigers, Mav Guyer will make his second appearance for the season as he
Wow.
comes in for Sione Fanu, who has concussion. Lock Charlie Murray gets his first NRL game for the year. He replaces Alex Twal, who has a knee injury. I like how they write young gun Ethan Roberts. Like, wow, who says that? But anyway, young Ethan Roberts and Bunty Afoa are the new faces on a six-man bench. And Macassini's been named despite failing to finish last week due to a shoulder injury. So, as for the Panthers, the big guns, well, I understand that. Cleary, Yo, and Toto are back on deck. Cogger, Henry, and Tago revert to the bench while Alamotti shifts to the centre to accommodate for Toto. Jack Cole's been added to the six-man bench while Billy Phillips, Patea, and Billy Scott drop to reserves. Tigers are $4.25 and the Panthers are deserving favourites at $1.23, mate. How do you see this one?
I don't usually look at the odds. Tigers probably should be $10, but
Ooh,
yeah, Panthers for me, like they even with the bloke the state of origin blokes out last week, just go to show everybody that they can beat the Warriors, who's running second in the comp. So I mean, again, Tigers if they do like Dragons did last week and turn up and play for at least the first 40 and maybe get a bit of a score on, they're half a chance, but can't see it.
yeah, I think it's pretty cut and dry, this one. The only thing that I'm hoping for is that it buckets down and it's really wet and almost flooded. So hopefully the gap between the both teams is uh closed. So yeah, definitely the Panthers for me. I'll be out there.
It's good.
least till halftime and see what happens. All right, you got a zinger for us, buddy?
I got to stick with my man, Milky Jenkins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he he plays. What's he play on the? He plays on the left. So I'm
Mm,
trying to think who would be. He'll be up against Tavana. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting. Tavana's good in the air. So's Jenkins, so that'll be good. Both ends of the field. Um, but yeah, as for my zinger, I've gone Paul Adam Alamotti.
yep.
He's gone
Well,
from
he
the
was a bit the same last week.
yeah.
I think he scored one and bombed one as well. So, mm.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think he's a good player, and I still cannot believe that the Bulldogs let him go. Wow, like some of the tripe they've kept and got rid of him. But anyway, that's their problem, not mine.
Yes.
Okay, next up, on the Sunday at Ocean Protect Stadium. Wow, we got the Sharks versus the Dragons, a local derby.
Mm.
As for the Sharks, Britton Nakora is back after being rested. Nico and Blake Brayley are missing. Uh, Blake Brayley broke his arm, did he? He's out for a couple of
Mm.
months, which is unfortunate. But the Sharks and probably the Blues. Billy Burns moves to the bench, and Jaden Brell gets the nod at hooker. I never heard of him. A couple of big names listed on the reserves were Ero and Sione Katoa. They returned from injury. As for the Dragons, Jacob Little is back from a hamstring injury. Um, and we got the edge for Jaden Sewer. He's listed amongst the reserves and looks to return from a calf injury. Tyrell Sloan, wow, drops back to the reserves after an 8-minute cameo off the bench last week. Wow, if he's only
Mm.
getting 8 minutes, why would you even bother?
Mm.
Um, the Sharks are sitting at $1.29 and the Dragons are at $3.64. What's your take, buddy?
I'll take the Sharks. I mean, Dragons obviously surprised everybody last week against the Bronx. I think I said myself that the Dragons probably go all year without a win, and they got it. And the Sharks, well, they did my boys, and they're at home again. And usually is a fortress, so with what 5,000 people. So yeah,
Yeah.
Sharkies for me.
Yeah, I think the Sharks were good last week against a good team. And I think the Dragons were okay considering where they've come from. But having said that, the biggest test for the Dragons is they've got to do it consistently, and
Mm.
that I don't think they'll be able to do. So, on that note, I'm going to take the Sharks. What about a zinger, mate?
I'm going to go Sam Stone Street. I don't
Oh,
think I've picked
wow.
him before, and I'm a bit worried with Iro and Katoa maybe coming back in, so could be another void ticket. But he seems to find the try line quite well, so I'll take him.
Yeah, I've um, I've picked Stone Street previously. He let me down multiple times. If you ever get a chance to speak to my young bloke, Frosty,
Hmm.
ask him his opinion of Stone Street.
Mm.
Oh, geez, he makes me laugh. We'll sit here and watch the footy, and we'll watch it on Sunday, and he'll just forever be shitbagging him, and it's just so funny.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan myself, but he always seems to get the ball like as the last pass and fall over the line. So
It's just funny that my young bloke just says what I'm thinking. So that's just really good. So on that note, I'm going to go. My zinger this week will be Ronnie Mulatalo.
yeah,
He,
well, I
he,
think the same.
yeah, he's back on deck for them. So he adds a bit of aggression and a bit of flair. So hopefully he can cross the stripe so we can build on our funds.
Mm.
Now we've got a game on Monday, the old King's birthday at Acor Stadium. We've got the Bulldogs versus the Eels. As for the Doggies, Cameron Serraldo sticks solid after that loss. And the only change he makes is is it Sean O'Sullivan comes onto the bench and Logan Spinks, and Sua and Lipoi Hupoi. Wow. Connor Tracy is on the reserves, so he probably won't play. He's come back from a hamstring, and Marcelo Montoya is a knee injury, but he's back on the bench, on the reserves. And as for the Eels, Talon De Silva has been named to start at hooker, while Harrison Edwards is on the bench. Um, Riley Smith is also on the reserves after playing in New South Wales Cup. And then we've got, oh, geez, Tinkham Brown has been added to a six-man bench in place of Charlie Geimer. So we've got the doggies, wow, $1.50 versus the Eels at $2.61. How do you see this one, buddy?
uh, I'll take the dogs reluctantly. I think Para are probably travelling worse than what the dogs are, so it's another flip of the coin.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. Um, the dogs probably should have won last week against the Tigers, but
Mm.
they just they I think Burton kept running the ball too much. He wouldn't pass it out to Sherry, and then you got the Eels who are, underachieving, injury depleted, whatever you want to call it, shit players, all of the above. Um, I'm going to take the dogs, but I think, geez, I think $1.50 is very short. Um, but yeah, I think there's more upside to them than what there is for the Eels at the moment. So I know it didn't sound too convincing.
No.
What do you got for your zinger, mate?
Um, well, I was going to take Ronald Volkman, but then I woke up from my dream and went, no, that is the wrong move. So I've gone with Bronson Cherry.
Yeah, right. Well, he's half a chance if they pass it to him. 2 weeks ago, he was ripping it up, and yeah, as I said last
Mm,
to him. So
yep.
I've gone for an old favourite. I've gone for the Fox to score against his old
Yeah, I
team.
looked at him. Yeah, I looked at him. Yeah.
Um, you'd like to think there would be a few points in this one, and if there is, surely he's got to be on the score sheet. So
Mm.
all right, we'll just have another look. What do we got here? So we'll just go through our multis. So
Wow, I'm a bit more conservative this week than I have been. That's good.
yeah.
Half a
Um,
chance.
so don't. If you're looking at the picture here, I'm on the left, but my picks are on the right, so that's a bit of bit of very confusion. So we'll just quickly go through yours, Frosty. You've gone
Hmm.
Manly, Melbourne, Raiders, Dolphins, Broncos, Panthers, Sharks, and the Doggies, and that totals up to $31.63.
Yeah.
If we cross the border over to me, the only different ones I've gone are the Roosters, and that's it, isn't
That's
it?
unbelievable, the Roosters. You've taken them. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I'm happy to cop some criticism over that, but
Mhm.
because I've gone the Roosters, my multi's only worth $25.54. If we have a look at our zingers, wow, this is where it starts getting a bit hot and spicy.
Mm,
As I,
juicy.
as I said, yours is on the left. You've gone Saab, Sharp, Laurie, Farnworth, Walsh, Jenkins, Stone Street, and Sherry. And if you look up the top there, if you power play it there, you're
Mm,
$397.91. That'd
I
be
like
handy.
it.
And then if we go to mine, um, who have we got on the first one? Okay, that's something's in the.
Leo
That's
Hopewadi.
right, Hopewadi. Far Logo, Tedesco, Asako, Arthurs, Alamoti, Mulatalo, and Adokar. And then if we go up there, you can power play mine to $119.58. Sounds right, doesn't
I'd rather mine.
it? I would rather yours too, but if we go on last week's
Yes.
form guide,
Yeah.
we're probably not
Yes.
much of a show. But
Yeah.
on that note,
I'm always trying to go for the big kill.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that because every now and then you do stab one in the dark.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
All right, on that note, we'll let it be, and good luck to everyone that's following and having a bit of a flutter. Just remember, the more you put on, the more you lose, which is good. If you got any comments, um, feel
Please
free
do. Mm.
feel free to load the gun up and fire a shot. Happy to walk around and look like Swiss cheese. But until next time, guys, hooroo,
Good night.
arrivederci.